Well, I'm just so happy to have our new steering team members here. I think it's very exciting because you all bring such good gifts and talents and experiences. And yeah, so Consuelo, you are the Middle America Regional Rep, is that correct?
Yes, as I understand.
Okay, good.
Uh,
And you speak Spanish?
yes, I'm a bilingual teacher also. Yeah.
Okay, and oh gosh, something just happened.
Oh,
Are you all still there?
We're here.
We are.
yeah.
We're
Okay,
here.
there you are. And let's see, so you also probably have connections with the Hispanic community in your area?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Our church was a mission church first, and it was Spanish only.
Ah,
It came in when it became more a bilingual church.
mm-hmm.
Now it's more English, sort of
Mm.
Spanish, but
Yeah.
but no, we do have connections in the state because the state is bilingual, and we have a very active organization we help called Somos un Pueblo Unido. That means we are a united people. And this is for the rights of immigrants, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But as a bilingual teacher, we have a very active group that defends the rights of people to be educated bilingually, including the Native American languages.
Great. Thank you.
Consuelo, this is Joe Randolph. I
Hi,
just went,
Joe.
what part of New Mexico are you from?
Originally, I'm from Guatemala.
Oh,
Yeah. But my husband and I live in Santa Fe,
Santa Fe.
and the capital. And my husband is from Clayton, Union County, that is a cow country. Cowboys
Thank you.
From the state, yeah.
Okay, and Matthew is the Western Regional Rep, and yeah, Matthew's a pastor, right? And he has experience with creation care as a pastor, and he's also very good at involving youth in creation care activities. He told us about some of those.
Oh, wow.
And so Eileen and yeah, we have two other at-large people. We don't quite have the at-large figured out yet, but we do have some expectations. But Eileen is a Christian educator, and we've never had a Christian educator, as far as I know, on the steering team. So your input will be very valuable. We thank you. Well, we thank all of you for being here. We do have two more people who are new, and that is Derek Weston, who is with Creation Justice Ministries, and Sarah, I don't remember Sarah's last name. Anyway, she is a younger voice, which is another first, I believe. It's always been older white people on this steering committee. Not always, but mostly. All right, so I'd like to start off by telling you about PEC itself, Presbyterians for Earth Care. So our mission statement is that we are a national eco-justice network that cares for God's creation by connecting, equipping, and inspiring Presbyterians to make creation care a central concern of the church. This information can be found on our website, which is presbyearthcare.org. Our purpose is to support a people of faith working towards environmental wholeness with social justice. And we define a member as anyone who has given any amount of money in the last 3 years. So we give people a lot of grace there with the 3 years, because normally, your membership is for 1 year. All right, so I will now, I'll tell you about the history of PEC, because I find it to be very interesting. In 1990, there was a policy called Restoring Creation for Ecology and Justice that just laid out, I mean, it's a little book. It's about, what, half an inch thick or so book that lays out everything about the environment and what the church could be doing. And so it calls Presbyterians to focus on caring for creation as a central concern to be incorporated into the life and mission of the church at every level. That is sort of what we use as our goal for the creation care team that I lead at my church, to incorporate it into the life and mission so that we can work ourselves out of a job. That's my goal. And so this got started after that policy came out, because it was so new, and I think there was a lot of concern that the PCUSA just wouldn't follow up on it. So in 1994, there were a group of Cherishing Creation Presbyterians who met in Louisville, Kentucky for an environmental consultation. And one of those people was Bill Simplansky Jarman, who just completed a term on our PE steering committee. But he's been, when there was an environmental ministries office, he was the head of the environmental ministries office. There were other people there, and I do believe, oh, hi, Derek. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, apologies for being late.
I'm glad you're here. So let me just stop and introduce Derek. Yeah, so Derek is another at-large person, and he is, yes, as I said, with Creation Justice Ministries. He's also very good at interviewing. I've heard 2 of your interviews. He's an author. I have one more chapter to read out of the Just Kitchen, and I did listen to one of your podcasts, so he's got a lot of talents. So we're talking about the history of the organization right now. It was, so yeah, after this meeting that they had in 1994, the result of that was that they called for a grassroots environmental network / fellowship in the PCUSA. And so in 1995, Presbyterians for Restoring Creation was birthed. It was founded to help the church to educate and energize church members about the environmental crisis. So that was in 95. So guess what? We're celebrating an anniversary this year, our 30th anniversary. In 2009, so in 95, it was called Presbyterians for Restoring Creation. In 2009, the name was changed to Presbyterians for Earth Care.
You wanna-
So that is your short history of Presbyterians for Earth Care. And unfortunately, Mindy just left. Oh, she's back. Yay. So Mindy's now going to tell you about how we're organized.
Oh, I need another second. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I don't have the organizational chart pulled up. Hold on one second.
Hey, Jane, say again, when did it become Presbyterians for Earth Care? What year?
2009. Yeah.
Oh, 2009.
Yeah, not that long ago. Well, I mean, it didn't seem like it's that long ago. I guess it is.
Okay, I'm ready. Sorry. Luckily, I know where things are. Is this what you were thinking, Jane?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So we have this organizational chart. I'm sure I'm not clicking on something that would make it look better, but here it is. A slideshow. There we go. Okay. So we have a steering committee. By the way, I'm Mindy and I'm the coordinator and I'm the person that you get all the emails from, etc. And as soon as I have everybody's phone numbers, occasionally you'll get a text from me if we're in a meeting and you're not there yet or something, but usually I just send emails. So we have the steering committee, which is you all. plus the executive committee, which consists of the coordinator, Jane, who is our vice moderator, Courtney, who is our moderator, who you can see, and Joe, who is also here. She's our treasurer. So the four of us make up the executive committee, and we just handle some extra things that we don't need to really have the whole steering committee do, like maybe discuss contracts and things like that. And then we have four main, I guess I'm going to call them committees.
Teams.
Organizational development, which does not meet on a regular basis. It's just kind of an as needed basis. As you can see, they handle the nominating team, fundraising team, and membership, which at the moment is pretty much me and Jane. We're the membership team at the moment. We have the programs committee, which handles our webinars. We have a conference team that's under the programs. We do annual awards and education, which I wouldn't say is separate from everything else, but it's part of our programming, kind of like brochures and things like that sometimes. And then we have advocacy, which we have as a very active group. It's a very important part of our organization. And one of the things the advocacy committee does is works to put together things related to General Assembly. Since I've been here, which has been almost 4 years, we have not been able to promote ourselves as an organization at General Assembly, but I've been told in the past, Jane, there was a table where we got to give out information about Presbyterians for Earth Care. So we're not involved in that way currently, but we do work on overtures. And last year we had a couple that we wrote, and I think the year before we had one that we wrote. So we do have some people who work on that. And I want to say all these committees, although they fall under the steering committee, are not comprised solely of steering committee members. We do our best to have people in all of these committees who are Presbyterians for Earth Care members, but not necessarily serving in a leadership capacity. I think every single one of these has several people on it. And we try to have as many different viewpoints as we can. So, and then we also do communications and outreach. I'm looking at that right now. Most of that is me, actually. We do have a quarterly publication called Earth News, and we do have an editor that does that. And that is articles and art and things like that related to Earth Care. But other than that, most of those things you see in your communications are me, but always open to new ideas and help. So I think that sums it up. Is that good, Jane?
That was good. Yes,
Okay.
thank you. Yeah, well, Mindy, and there's
there- Are there any
Go ahead.
are there any
Yeah,
questions for
questions.
Mindy
Yeah, I
about
can put that back
the
up if you want to
structure?
look at it again. I should have asked that before I took it down. Put it back up.
I was gonna ask just to kind of like
Okay.
clarify under the
Looking at it.
communication outreach bubble,
Yeah.
the EARTH, does that like stand for the Earth a quarterly
Yes.
periodical?
It does. And I think those initials stand for
Okay.
things. I forget what they are.
Oh,
Environmental
yeah.
action through, do you know, Jane?
No, I don't remember, but they do stand for
Yes,
something.
that's the Earth News quarterly publication, which anybody can contribute to. So we just have a separate editor who pulls that together for us, a volunteer.
So Mindy, you want to talk about your job? You do everything, I know, but
I I do a lot of those things you saw under communications. I also I don't know what to say.
well, you do the Zoom calls, right?
I do the Zoom calls. I handle our donation and membership drives,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
are done. We still send out printed solicitations for those. And because actually a lot of people just write checks even in this day, even though we try to encourage online, just it's the population that's involved with us still likes to write checks. So we do a lot of mailings. I handle the social media, and I handle the website. And when people call the phone number or email the email address on our website, that goes to me. So I handle various people asking questions and things. I have a lot to do with helping with the conference. We have a separate conference conference organizer, but I help a lot with the publicity and the communication with that. I work a lot with Joe on the finances. I don't know, a lot of the
And you
things.
send out the emails to us.
Yes,
To our
I'll
group.
probably, yeah, you'll get emails from me a lot, like at least once a week. But I set up our Zoom calls, and my background's in forestry, but I
Oh,
do a
nice.
lot of other things. So I guess
And
that's it
Mindy's
though.
and Mindy's a runner. She's a distance runner.
Yeah,
Wow.
And
Consuelo.
Yeah, I have a question. Who publishes that newsletter?
We do. The Earth News, which I can send you all the link to. It's also all the back issues are on our website. It goes out. We have MailChimp that does our mass emails. We have over 2,000 people now on our MailChimp, and it just goes out to everybody there. But we also post the past issues onto our website. And I will tell you, if you look at the website, yes, go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, it's really wonderful. And I
Oh.
always forward it to,
I'll
the
pass that
community
along.
members. Yeah.
I can't take
church.
responsibility for that. We have an editor who's really pretty good with it, so.
Uh-huh.
I'm not a web designer, so if you look at our website, it does not look amazing. I just do the best I can, but we're hoping to get an intern to help us with the web design, so,
Okay.
yeah.
and Joe is our bookkeeper. Joe, would you like to talk about your role, all the work that you do?
Well, I'm not the bookkeeper.
I'm sorry, you're our treasurer.
I'm the treasurer.
I wrote that down wrong.
That's all right. We do have a bookkeeper who puts things together, compiles our information from our bank, and helps put the budget lines together. I'm the treasurer, and so any checks that come, any bills that come, I'm the one that gets to either deposit or write the check. If we have any honorariums for webinars or speakers, those get written by me. So that's been my role. As a treasurer, I'm also one of those that says, being on the board, part of your responsibility is to help us. And it could be by donations, it could be by volunteerism, but many times to be on a board, to donate to the organization, it looks really well, especially when we apply for grants. Because if you can state in a grant application that 100% of your board donates above the membership level, so you can be a member and then add more, it looks good on that grant writing. So I'm kind of one of those that says, do you have a couple extra dollars? And there's no minimum amount and there's no maximum amount. So go ahead, write that big check.
And so, Joe,
Is the address that we
what's the
mail that to
membership?
on the website?
Yes,
Is it
it's
clear on the website? Okay, I'll do that
it's
today.
a Prairie Village, and you can you still donate on the website, Mindy? You don't have to write a check, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can donate at the top on the menu drop down, so you can go to giving, and you can donate through the website too if you want.
Either way it comes to us, it's just with the way the post office has been lately, it's kind of been a challenge sometimes. And I don't know what's happening in your area, But in our area, even the post office is putting out signs once a week. Do not put mail in the blue boxes that are sitting out front of the post office. Stuff is being stolen.
Oh, no.
So yeah, so they want you to go inside to drop your mail off.
I
So
wonder if we're gonna have a post office in a year.
Mm.
don't get me on that. So it's going to be interesting, but you can do it online. And we have a wide range of people that are members of PEC, and some are not comfortable doing things online, and doing it cashless, and that's fine. So we still have our checking account. Some of our bills, there's no way to pay them online. So that's why I have to write the check. So we're pretty flexible about doing that. I will, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the other thing that Joe has been working on for a while is moving toward a green bank, which is exciting, not only for PEC, but also for all the members to see what that looks like and how that's done and how that can benefit, creation. So
We're looking, our bank right now happens to be Wells Fargo, which is one of the top 3 that you should not be working with because of the amount of money that they send to fossil fuel corporations. And so we're trying to do some sort of green banking. We were this close. Wait a minute, you got that close. And then a bank we were working with kind of switched its focus. And so we've backed off again to find one that's gonna work for us. But what is our purpose? What is our goal? We need a bank that will do that too. And then we have the challenge that we want a bank that is all online or can be done all online, since not every treasurer is going to live next door to me. So the next treasurer may be in Montana, or because I live in Kansas, the next treasurer may be in Florida. And so we have to transfer all that and have our address transferred. So if we can get an online bank, I'm connected with Third Faith, and they're doing a really good job about doing that. And so I'm working with them to help us find the right one that will work for us. So that's what we're looking at.
Do you want to make a comment about our financial situation?
I was going to, let's see if I can do that. This was just put together by our bookkeeper using some of the figures. Now it says January through December 25. So remember that when you look at the actual column versus the budgeted column. So because it's December 25 hasn't happened yet. We've only been in January and part of February, but our revenues the last year and a half have not made it up to our budget line item. So we have investments. We have some investments. In fact, these numbers are not accurate right now because I just got it in the mail today from the Presbyterian Foundation. Some figures about our cash and equivalents with that portfolio. So I've got to update those with the bookkeeper to do that. But up to this point, we have in January through February 10th, $5,000 have come in actually, and we're hoping for 57. Dealing with the fact that we have a conference coming up and we have 2 paid staff members, which has made a world of difference in trying to get this arranged. Mindy and I, and then once we brought Stephanie on, who's our bookkeeper, we've kind of turned things around and made more sense of a lot of things. So we're still working on it, but what a difference it makes that you have a particular person that's there regularly. We have some salaries with our coordinator and our bookkeeper. And that's what these actual figures are. So this is a pretty basic financial sheet that we pull up to give you an idea of what it is. Yes, we still do printing and postage because, as we mentioned, some of our members still are not comfortable being all online. Communication, because we do a lot online, we do a lot of webinars, we do a lot of hosting. We've done a lot of Zoom meetings. Those communication figures have increased in the last couple of years. And the same with operations, because we're trying to switch over to try and get as much online as possible, which should change these figures a little bit. And then when we get down to for our operations, we're budgeting about $9,500. Steering committee, $1,500. General Assembly, we have both General Assembly and other conference regularly, even though General Assembly happens every other year and a conference happens every other year, to keep those line items in there so that we have an idea of where we fit. And then the webinar honorariums and technology with the PEC conferences. So as of right now, we have expenditures budgeted for 106,000, and total right now we have 8 that has come in. So we've got to jump to kind of get those to match, and we would prefer to know about it earlier than December 31, 2025, if that's at all possible. So any questions on that? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, what's the difference between being a member and paying as a member and the miscellaneous donations?
Right. So we have miscellaneous donations down here. Now, some of this figure is money that has come in for Network for Good, which is is how we do the online donations, and so we get a percentage from them because of donation online. The part that doesn't show in this figure is we also owe them a yearly fee for using their service. So it's kind of a back and forth. So it looks good here, but further down, there's a switch that we do owe as some of our expenditures. But if someone were to become a member, this is where you would be. We've had people give us memorials from, in fact, I just had one, which I need to switch, that was given in honor of their parents. So that was their extra donation, and that would go in this particular category, because that helps us identify where we need to focus and how we can focus to increase those funds that we need to function properly.
Okay, thank you.
And we do have 2 fundraising events. I wouldn't call them events, fundraising mailings a year. We have our membership drive in April. All membership dues are due on Earth Day, April 22nd. And then we do a fall fundraiser to catch those people who like to give at the end of the year.
Okay.
I was going to
So-
ask Joe, are there any broad trends in terms of the last 3 to 5 years that it's different in any capacity, whether it's overall budget versus expenses versus income? Any
Yes, and yes. It actually took us, Mindy, what, about a year to figure out where some of these numbers were coming from and where to categorize them. We had a lot of numbers out there or categories over here that we didn't know what they were. And if you've ever worked with an organization, sometimes they're a once a year payment or income, or once every other year. And so it's taken us a while to figure out where those sit. So we're working on it. We have been down in donations the last year and a half. And I'm not sure what that's from, whether it's memberships. I don't have a record of memberships, where we are in memberships. But in expenditures, because GA is not open to a lot of people being there, some of these figures have come down. but we have had members with PEC that have gone to General Assembly just to be there in person, even though we don't have a table. So these may, if GA continues with we don't need that extra room where people can find out about people like Presbyterians for Earth Care or Guatemala projects, or we may have to relook at some of this budget line item with that. Our conferences, I think we're much better this year. Mindy, correct me if I'm wrong, in setting up the conferences and the budget line item, because 2 years ago, trying to put one together, we just had to pull numbers out of the air, trying to figure out what should be the budget and what should be required. I think we're a little bit better this year. We feel a little bit more solid about numbers that are coming out in this new conference planning,
So
which
can I
we
just
hope to
add-
see everybody at, right?
So the conference thing has been an adjustment in the past 3 to 5 years, because probably like everybody else, we're trying to sort through what used to always be 100% in person. 2021, we did 100% online conference. But I mean, we still gave honorariums to all the presenters. And then last year was our first attempt to figure out what we're doing with in-person versus virtual. And so we're still learning where that balance is. And our last conference, we didn't break even because of, I guess, expectations of more in person than we had. So that's one thing that has changed, but I'm sure that that's been something a lot of organizations have gone through. So.
Thank you, Joe. That was a very
You're welcome.
thorough report.
Thank you.
Any other questions about our finances? Okay, well, I'm just going to tell you about our communications. As you probably know, like everybody, we do a lot on Zoom. So our steering committee meetings are on Zoom. All our committee meetings are on Zoom. This meeting is on Zoom, et cetera, et cetera. But I think the way that we communicate the most is through email. So it's really important that everyone check their email every day, because Mindy sends out something probably every week.
Mm.
We don't think I mean, if like you're on a committee or something, you might get a text. We don't really do that a whole lot. Our website is a good way to get information. Again, it's presbyearthcare.org. And then, Mindy, help me on this one if I'm wrong. On social media, we do Facebook and Instagram. Is
Yeah,
that right?
right now.
Okay,
We have
Uh,
not gotten into Blue Sky yet.
okay. And then, you might occasionally get a phone call, like if you're late for a meeting. It's usually when you get a phone call. Yeah, we also have the Google Drive where Mindy has put all the information about PEC that the steering committee needs to know. So there are things in there like our operations manual, our bylaws, the contact list of all the people on the steering team, and our minutes and the calendar. So that's a good thing to learn how to use. And that is, yeah, all I have. Any questions about anything so far? Consuelo?
Yeah, I've always asked myself why being the care of creation or the earth, an essential part of being a Christian. Why is it that the church is not embracing it fully? And and you know, in our church, we have slowly incorporated it, including our pastors.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I noticed that at one time I guess it was this committee or the Earth Care Committee added the creation part or the care of the earth in the big book.
Mhm,
I mean the Presbyterian book.
mhm.
So what is it? What do you see as stopping that from happening?
People's interests in wealth, making money through the oil industry. I don't know. I don't know. Um, I was in Houston for too many years, and
I think Eileen has something.
oh, okay,
Oh.
go ahead.
Finish your sentence, Jane.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and there were a lot of oil executives in my congregation, and they just didn't want to hear about it. So
Oh,
it was
okay.
tough. It was really tough.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Derek and I serve on the advisory committee for the Presbyterian Hunger Program, and a big part of that is environmental justice is a section of the hunger program. We have a staff person dedicated to that, Jessica Maudlin. There's the Earth Care congregations certification as Earth Care congregations. At the General Assembly level, a lot is being done. It's just a matter of it filtering down to the congregations. But if there's any interest at all, information is there, plus us.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm. All right, Courtney, would you like to talk about expectations of steering committee members?
Sure. And this is just sort of sharing some things that I'm looking out at. So I'm new as moderator to Presbyterians for Earth Care. What I'd love to do is have a phone conversation with each of the new steering committee members to talk about where you see yourself plugging in to opportunities. And there are lots of opportunities, as many ideas as you have, there are that many opportunities. But just to name a few, you saw on the structure, we need help with programming, ideas for webinars. We do need help. What we'd love to do is hone our fundraising and really get something
Mhm.
more intentional in place for that. Advocacy, which also works with General Assembly, putting overtures before the General Assembly. So there are lots of opportunities. We're looking maybe at advocacy, at doing something with young adults, finding out what they're interested in and doing something there. Just so you know, overall, and it was probably clear from the budget that Joe went over, there are only 2 paid positions at PEC, and that's Mindy, who's the coordinator, and PEC would not function very well without the work that Mindy does. And then Stephanie, who is the bookkeeper.
And they both, Stephanie only works a couple hours a month, and Mindy works a whole lot more, but not full time. I think she works some that she doesn't credit herself for.
This is possible. The other thing that we're looking at is finding somebody to help us with our website. It would preferably be a volunteer, but I think we've reached the point where we're bumping up against the things that the website can do, and we need it to do more. And also, one of the things I do, which I'm really excited about, and this is not in the capacity of moderator, but Mindy, Lucy Youngblood, and I hold Let Justice Roll Down, which is the Presbyterians for Earth Care Bible study this year. And
Presbyterian
it's about
women.
Presbyterian women, sorry, Presbyterian women's Bible study. And Patricia Tull wrote the study, and it's amazing. I mean, so Consuela, you talk about why there aren't more Presbyterians involved in Earth Care and really caring about Earth Care. I think if all Presbyterians, if this was required viewing for all Presbyterians, they would, because they would see the connection, the theological, the biblical connection between creation care and our tradition, and they'd all be on board. So I would love it if you would put your phone numbers in the chat for me so that I can give you a call and set up a time to, I'll text you and we can set up a time maybe to chat about what you care about, what you're interested in. And Eileen and Derek, I'm really grateful for your participation both in at the national level, working with Jessica and doing this as well. I feel like thank you so
Yeah.
much. And so I just met with Jessica and Rebecca Barnes yesterday on a Zoom call just to, touch base. And I think the idea is collaborating as best we can. So does anybody have any questions for me? Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Derek. Thanks, Consuela.
One idea that just popped, I think when we are doing fundraising or membership, besides the letter asking about money, there should be something informing about, like you did, Jane, the history of this committee and what it has done at the national level, and what in and maybe five things about what to do for creation, just short and sweet.
Consuelo, we would love if you could help us with our next membership letter because it's coming up soon and I would love to include your ideas in it.
Oh, thank you.
So we will talk. I just wanted to add that there's a contact list, Google form that I will send everybody the link to where you can put in your phone number and address and stuff just so that people can get in touch with each other. And also, am I allowed to talk, Jane? Just real quick.
No, raise your hand.
If you're interested in no obligation, but if you're interested in popping into any of our committee meetings coming up in the next few weeks, if you would like, I can just go ahead and send everybody in this meeting just kind of like what it's looking like for the different committee meetings through February in case you happen to be available and want to come to the advocacy committee meeting just to sit in and see what we're doing, or the programs committee or the conference planning, just to kind of get a feel for what's going on in those committees. I can go ahead and send you the calendar for the days and times if you would like. And you can do that to learn a little bit more about what's going on. That's all.
So speaking of our steering committee meetings, we do need to set a date. And I don't know when you think the best time to do that is, Mindy.
I've already done that. And a lot of people on this call have already said they're coming.
All right. Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
You might have missed it, Jane.
It's very
And I
efficient.
sent a reminder actually today to some people who hadn't said they couldn't make it yet.
All right. And then also steering committee members are expected to attend our biennial conference. So it's every 2 years. And this year we are having a conference at Ferncliff in Little Rock, Arkansas in October. Don't ask me the dates. Somebody else might know.
8 to 10, is that right?
8 to 11th with the steering
8 to
committee
11.
retreat going until the 12th.
That's right, which is a Sunday. The 12th is a Sunday. Yeah, so that's quite a few days in Little Rock. But it's a worthwhile time because we get to meet in person. And we can talk about some good things and share our life experiences, whatever, but and Ferncliff is a neat place to be as well. And so PEC will pay your room and board and your transportation. However, you are expected to pay your registration, which we have not established yet. We're trying to keep it at $100, but I'm not sure what it will be. That is up to the organizer and the conference planning team. Okay. Anything else?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Everybody gets to have a PEC email address. And so I will send to you, your PEC email address and your login password. And, those, so that people can go to our website. We do have a steering committee page that you are already on, but I don't think I've linked in your email address yet. So you can check your PEC email address in case anybody has emailed you. And if you so choose, you can link it to another email address that you check more regularly if you want them to get forwarded to you, but that's up to you. So I personally, because PEC is my work email address, don't have them forwarded to my personal email address because then things get all mixed up and I can't find things. But some people do like to have the email forwarded. So I will also send that to you and how you can access it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, anything else? We still have 7 minutes.
But we don't have to take all that 7 minutes. The one thing I'd encourage you to do is to take a look at the website and familiarize yourself with all the information that's on there. And if you have suggestions for the website that you see that jump out at you right away, let us know.
Mhm.
I was just going
Joe.
to say, many times in our meetings, there are lots of information that is put into the chat. So be sure to always save the chat before you leave a meeting. And in this one, there's a lot of links that I put in there to the Earth newsletter and the PEC website and just so that sometimes it's easier to click than try and remember, now, what did they tell me I had to go to find? So always do that when you're in a Zoom meeting.
Yeah, so I was going to share like one observation, and I don't really have my head wrapped around this insight, to be honest. But I was working with a guy up here who's a California leader in environmental justice, and one of his big things is grant writing. And he really talks a lot about the importance of vision statements. And his contention is that most organizations get it wrong when they create vision statements and they say that in writing vision statements, people say what they do. And his contention is that it's got to be about who you are. And so when you're trying to grow your membership or trying to articulate that vision, you really have to share more about who you are. And so I've been like checking out our vision statement. So one thing I've been thinking about, how do you incorporate that identity, and especially when we're thinking about young people, to make that just crystal clear about, hey, when you sign on to when this becomes part of an organization that you support, it's not something, one more thing you do. It's really about your identity and who you are. So I haven't totally I don't know if I totally follow his track, but there's something there that strikes me as kind of exciting to to think about.
I think with vision statements, it also gives you a focus to move forward to, instead of what we did, but what we want to accomplish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's more what I thought a vision statement was, what you aspire to be or aspire to do. Yeah.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks.
Yeah, I don't, yeah, and our church vision statement is really oftentimes about what we do rather than who we are, and that's where I'm I'm challenged a lot by what he's saying. But he's saying in the grant world, you really you can't make a statement in your vision statement saying what all the things you do, what really makes a difference in an exciting grant, when you can clearly state who you are. Food for thought, I
Right.
guess.
And that would be really helpful for our fundraising as well, just to have a statement like that. I mean, grants, yes, but also for fundraising. So thanks for raising that.
And what,
I
while
was
we're
just
on,
going to say Consuelo's note about who we are, that little background, but then moving on to that vision, where are we going to go from here?
Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah.
um, Yeah, so one thing I've been thinking about is we should have a tagline. Earth Justice I think it's Earth Justice. Their tagline is the environment needs a good lawyer.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
And I was gonna find a bunch of taglines to get us inspired, but that might be something we could do at our retreat or even maybe even earlier.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I love this. Y'all have good ideas. Sound energetic. Not right now, but when you joined.
If I could throw in one more thing. I don't know if you all know this, but the National Interfaith Power and Light organization has essentially folded.
Yes.
And so while there are a lot of strong regional branches of IPL,
Mhm.
that national voice is gone. And so just as we're thinking about advocacy, I mean, this is one of the things that we're thinking about at Creation Justice Ministries, but recognizing that it's going to be really hard to do anything advocacy wise on the federal level with the current administration. But we do recognize that there's going to be a little bit of a vacuum there with the national IPL voice gone. So there's maybe some opportunities for us thinking about advocacy and where our voice might be really full.
Thank you for that, Derek. I've had similar thoughts because IPL is multi-denominational, and all our churches, not just the Presbyterian denomination, but membership is declining. So do we want to expand? I don't know, maybe you people are the ones who are going to prompt us to do it.
or gathered together.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have or have had a pretty strong Washington office with PC USA, and they're on top of things. But my personal opinion is it's hard to get that word out to the local congregations to do that advocacy. And my thing right now is you need to do it in your own backyard because that's where it's going to come up from. So we need to make sure that that happens and it gets shared.
Well, that's one reason I chose the Green Amendment as the advocacy, because it's like a big umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are several groups advocating right now at the legislature for water, for air, for less use of gas and oil and and all of that, and fracking also. So there are, but the Green Amendment is the umbrella that covers everything. Had we had it before, the oil companies will have their act together. And they use solar and especially wind for their programs. So yes. A lot of things to think about.
Yes, you're absolutely right about that. So maybe we should end with a prayer. Creator God, you have called us to care for your creation. Thank you for being with us today as we met to greet these new members of our steering committee who will help us do a better job of caring for your creation, and for inspiring those outside of this group to follow your call, Lord. Please show us the way, be with us, keep us safe. In your name we pray. Amen.
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 It was good to be with everybody. Thank
Nice to
you.
meet you.
Yes, thanks, Courtney. for
Nice
I'll
to
be in
see
touch.
everybody. I knew Jane before, but not everybody else.
being-
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.